on a surprise Thursday for no reason other than the monthly reports. No yelling and screaming. All right, I'm just gonna go straight to the full screen here. Looks like I'm frozen again today, folks, but we don't need me. I don't need to be here. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining me on this random Thursday when I'm not normally streaming. We're here for a news drop. There's been quite a few developments over the last 30 to 48 hours in Star Citizen that I wasn't entirely aware was going to happen. I didn't even know the game is in Ivacati. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over the monthly report, which came out yesterday, which is actually looking pretty good compared to the last couple months. So I couldn't wait till Friday. I was excited to get right in. Look at this core gameplay section, folks. I saw this and I fell out of my chair. Oh, look at how much gameplay updates we have to go over this month. In addition to, of course, mission design, narrative tech, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go through this monthly report. And then I'm going to follow up with a couple other things that we've been discovering. First is, Astropub hit me up this morning and let me know that we're getting a Banu in Star Citizen. Now, they're not physically there. It's basically like Banu Ruto, but it's going to be a fully voiced alien for the first time in Star Citizen. And honestly, I'm surprised it's not a Vandal. So we're going to look at that. We're also going to check out some of the other things that are going on in Ivacati. There's a lot of changes coming up with 4.1 that are very content focused. And obviously, as always, we're going to have some good old kickback time, chatting, shooting the memories, shooting the breeze. That's it. Shooting the breeze and making memories. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you. Notification gang. I saw you pop in here real quick, hyperactive. Good to see you, man. Dropped Yogurt, welcome in, Vastin, AAK, Thaki. Hope you guys have had a lovely Wednesday. Welcome to Thursday. Brigadier, what's up, my friend? How are you doing? Arctic Wolf, good to see you. Zero, nice. Mickey, Bleeding Vox, Soku, Steve. Welcome in, everybody. Hot soap. Yikes. Ouch. Lurch Lord, good bet on the camera not working. As you can see, it's not working. But I do want you guys to be able to see chat, so I am going to take me off the screen. I'm not even sure. Hold on, let me see. It might be my phone. How about now? How's that? Does that work? Was it literally? It was just my phone turned off. That's why it wasn't working. So I'm back. Hey y'all, what's happening? We're about to go over a whole bunch of news, and for some reason, my music just my music folder deleted all of my music. You're weird. Don't do that. What is going on? And Windows is so dumb. All right, so it's now messed with my music for some reason. As long as I can play something. Cool. Dang phone. It's always the phone. So how's your week going, everybody, before we get into it? What y'all been up to? Anything good? Or are you here for the good times? Is this going to be your daily highlight? Let me get chat up over here so I'm not looking away from you guys when we talk. We are currently... Hey, don't start freezing on me now, literally just because I opened another program. Dude, what the actual fuck, man? What the hell? My phone literally won't stay on. Just keep the screen on. What? Hey, I mean... Hold on, everybody. I gotta turn the settings off on my... Hi. I gotta turn the settings off on my phone so that it can't turn the screen off. You wouldn't expect a phone, like a camera, you wouldn't expect a camera to turn off the screen when you're using it as a camera. But technology's dumb. So I'm just gonna turn off my screen timeout completely. Oh, you can't even turn the screen timeout off. Okay, I'll have to set it to 30 minutes and then I'll just, when I freeze, guys, just let me know I'm frozen and I'll get up and change this stupid f***ing system again because you can't have nice things. All right. Doing quite home. Time to drive home. Move into the phone so you can listen on the road. Driving home already? That's nice. Never seen a YouTuber with more PC problems. Hey man, well, you never seen someone try this hard. All the YouTubers that have this many PC problems quit. That's why. Sensei work's almost over for you? Nice, good for you. This actually was a phone problem, by the way, not a PC problem. That's the thing. So I have, my setup is running off of 2 PCs, the Rodecaster, the phone, and a server, and then the router. So there are a lot of places for possible failure. A lot of people have more simple setups and have been set up for a lot longer. Think they'll give me maze or slam? You getting a tooth ripped out? Ouch, bro. Ask him for some widow. That's what'll really do it. This will be your highlight. Oh yeah, I read that. Looks like you were having fun, dude. I'm always having fun, man. It's Thursday. You guys don't see me on Thursdays. These are my good days. Oh, camera, you're a little off here. Okay, there we go. All right. Are you and the wife going to the SC Quantum Convention in Vegas in July? We are not. We originally were. I was talking to the group about that. We were talking about being part, but we will be in Turkey during that time, so we won't be able to be in Vegas. And apologies to everybody who's going to be sweating their freaking butts off in Vegas in July, but hey, good times, man. At least a lot of it is indoors, Vegas. It's like you can walk down the entire Vegas Strip underground. All right. Well, dude, I mean, Turkey with the food. Can't lose. Also, Vegas is like the place that never sleeps in America, right? You go out in Vegas, it's 10 o'clock in the evening and you're like, I want to get some coffee with some friends, or I just want to go out and like hang out with some friends, sit down. It's so normal in Vegas, right? That's how it is all over Turkey. So you still get that vibe no matter what. People in Turkey and largely in Europe, much more efficient with their use of the clock than we are here in America. We like to get out, get back in home, and then lock it down until the next morning. So it is pretty fun to just hang out over there. Shall we talk about some Star Citizen monthly reports, though? This is the dev update of February. So not all of the work that happened in February, mind you. They like to say it's work that happened, right? This is work from the developer. All the latest updates from the developers working on the persistent universe, including AI, core gameplay, narrative, missions, tech design, and UI teams. Including and limited to, I want to say, because if you look at the monthly report here, there's one very, very key section that is not included this year or this month. It is the one that is usually what people get most excited about. There is no ship art. And you can bet well sure that there had to be some work on ships this month. You know what? Maybe not. You might not actually be able to bet well that there was work on ships. And this is kind of why, I guess we could use this as a good example for why the progress tracker isn't all that accurate. Because if you come in here and you look at ships, I don't know, let's pick a ship that we know is in the works. Is the Ironclad on here? No. How about the Pioneer? No. Okay, how about the Paladin? No. Okay. Do they have any freaking ships on here? Who's working on, Nope. No ships being worked on at all. Just nothing. Nothing whatsoever. They're just... You saw it here, folks. Star Citizen has stopped working on ships. That's what this means. That's why it's what the progress tracker's telling us, huh? And the monthly reports. Sorry, everybody. I'm literally putting a ship out like next week or a video out about what ships are being worked on, and then they put out the monthly report, and they're just like, nope, there are none. It's not happening. Save your excitement. That's the fun of covering Star Citizen, though. Used to it. So that being said, not everything's going to be on this monthly report. Now, maybe they didn't work on ships at all in February for whatever reason. I think that'd be wild because I do think they might have released a ship. But this monthly report won't be all inclusive. It's just going to be the stuff that they're willing to say. So let's start with AI content this month. And can you turn? There we go. Thank you. Okay. Oh yeah, and SCL confirmed work on 2 new RSI ships. Yeah, so that doesn't really work out, does it? AI content team. They continued updating the broken air traffic controller behavior throughout the main landing zones, with fixes entering the QA/TR process for validation, stress testing, and to ensure they don't break other areas of the game. You guys all know the air traffic control problems you have when they don't give you a landing pad, when they maybe get rid of your landing pad too quickly. It's one of those persistent things we've had for a while. Once successful, the team will begin scheduling it for inclusion in an upcoming patch. So probably not 4.1, but it's in the works. The devs also worked with the design, environment, and economy teams to iterate on a new character prototype. This included a performance capture session to record new lines. Updates then continued on Grimhex to match the behavior reworks done on Stanton's other landing zones. A new character prototype could very well be the mission giver. If it is a Banu, which everything is pointing to it being a Banu, that could be the prototype that they developed just to get it ready for 4.1. It is a hologram, but they would still need to have some capture. They would definitely need to have the voice lines. But this is what we've been talking about. We've been wanting narrative, right? And then we got narrative, but it was all in data pads and text. So we were saying, okay, well, give us voice lines, give us people to talk to, give us actual mission givers. And we're seeing it in the first major patch of the year with a Banu mission giver coming in. And as we're going to go over here, quite a few other things related to factions. Factions are getting their representatives. They are getting their backstories and their reputation in game. They're starting to fill out the stuff they talked about for that 1.0 idea behind guilds. So the rollout is happening. Or a rollout is working out. There's a Reddit leak that says a ship called the Anvil Asgard is being worked on. Well, we don't really go over data mined leaks here. That being said, I'm not sure how to determine what's not data mined and what's Evocati for today. So I do want to give spoilers to anybody who's worried about data mined leaks. Today might be a little bit more loose because we're going to be going over Evocati stuff. Maverick, thank you for the bits, dude. Really appreciate you. You're always coming through on the streams. All right. What else is going on in AI content? In new initiatives, the team began looking into improvements to the dogfighting experience based on discussions with the design and mission teams. AI tech also tackled a handful of bugs logged by other teams and picked up from general playthroughs. All right, so that's content. That's generally the stuff that's going to be making it into the game the quickest from the AI team, but features is also pretty important. Last month, AI features improved and polished creature behaviors. New technology from AI tech was added to close range and melee attacks as used by the Copion and the Kazi Grazer. Does the freaking Kazi Grazer have attacks? Maybe don't piss a cow off enough that it wants to attack you? Rather than stopping or starting locomotion to begin, the attack is considered part of the locomotion request, allowing the creature to react at any point during locomotion or resume locomotion without delay if the target moves. I see, so what they would do before is just stop and then attack you, and then stop and then walk. Like robots. For human AI, the team made a variety of improvements, for example, Time was spent on first reaction flow escalation, giving players direct feedback on an enemy's awareness state so they can sneak past. This was supported by new callbacks to the mission functionality. Sorry. This was supported by new callbacks to the mission functionality to allow the designers to script specific level scenarios when an enemy is spotted, such as when radioing for backup. So I've been really enjoying, we saw this during a stream recently, I've been loving being able to go into an outpost or attack, and yeah, they should be able to see my spaceship flying in, whatever. I like being able to land there and actually sneak in, and the enemies don't know you're aiming at them, because there was a long time where if you were just in the vicinity of an enemy, they would know you were there. And it was annoying, because you do all this crazy good sneaking around an outpost and you pop around the corner and they'd shoot at you immediately. So I've appreciated already since 4.0 seeing stealth on the ground on FPS actually be an option. Nice to see that they're continuing to build on it here with the monthly report. On top of this though, various smaller bug fixes and improvements were made, which will reach the verse soon. For example, accuracy scaling will now start from the beginning of combat rather than when the player is seen, to give more grace time. Oh, it wasn't from when, wow, so. Okay, that's an interesting detail. Aimed at perception was improved, which is used for detecting when an enemy is aiming at civilians. While new functionality was added so that background assignments only influence behaviors rather than completely change them. Issues were fixed with overzealous vehicle-based friendly fire, which prevented NPCs from firing when friendly vehicles were close by, and pre-combat attack area behaviors, including the AI not moving to the area and not attacking. A lot of AI fixes in this one. Additions were made to subsumption behavior scripting to allow parallel nodes to terminate when ready, rather than being forced to terminate. This is useful in situations where the designers don't want to force an animation to quit until the correct point. Yeah. Updates were also made to the AI state machine to give better control over how to transition between states. The AI updates here shouldn't be understated. We've all recognized how much better this game plays when FPS AI actually plays well. Now that they can actually do stuff in a server meshed environment, I'm so excited to see if these sorts of fixes and changes that they talk about are things we can notice on a more patch by patch basis, instead of like, oh, this is different from 3 years ago. Like to see some, real progress in AI now that we can see how they actually act. Moving on to the game intelligence development team. This is kind of a little bit of tech and R&D kind of stuff to support the rest of the company in making the game. In February, the game intelligence development team continued to fix StarScript crashes reported by the designers and QA testers. Due to the increasing number of users, the main priority is to stabilize the tool as quickly as possible. So StarScript is what Subsumption used to be. This is their tool for making missions, for making AI logic work correctly in certain places. This is super crucial to making the game feel alive through AI. And we are hearing, not as like a bragging point, just as a detail for why they're doing certain things, that there is an increasing number of users. I'm not going to go out here and say that I have a photo sensitive memory of every monthly report we've ever read. I don't remember all of them, but I don't think they've ever talked about StarScript actually expanding in its usage. Usually it was just, we're continuing to work on it, we're making it better, the missions team's using it, AI development's using it. This makes it sound a little bit more like there's more people hands-on with building content using StarScript. And that's me reading into it and getting all excited and hopiuming and a little bit like, it's not, don't write to your mom about it, but this combined with what we've been seeing already from this year and what's looking like it's going to happen in 4.1 does seem like this is a significant thing that's happening. The team also began analyzing the ongoing mission system refactor in preparation for a summit held in the Manchester studio. Topics include the declarative model, tag system, and the self-validation tool. The implementation of views into StarScript 1.7 mentioned in last month's report continued too. Elsewhere, Game Intelligence continued exploring various designs to clearly display the master graph and different state nodes. Pictograms were created to simplify the meaning of each state. They also began implementing the master graph design into StarScript. Here is a picture of said master graph. So what we're seeing here is it looks like this is AI logic of some sort. You have peaceful AI on foot, running a patrol path, which confirms no combat on foot. But it looks like this patrol path can then be affected by a human combat system here, which determines combat on foot through systemic behavior. See, I'm just kind of reading this. I have no idea what this all means, but this is how the AI, like whenever you encounter an AI in the game, this is the kind of system that's going to determine what it does. So it's a very important tool, and it's good to see that they're modernizing it and updating it pretty quickly now that I guess they're starting to create more content with it. Yeah, blue squiggly lines and black squiggly lines. Star Citizen. Okay, AI tech. This is the stuff that's least close to getting into the game, but can make really big differences because it can be applied across the game, since, AI is everywhere. Last month, the AI tech team progressed with work that will allow them to voxelize huge areas of 3D navigation. This will be used to create paths for AI ships and EVAing NPCs. We saw work on EVAing NPCs a couple years ago. Planetary navigation mesh, and it's always that makes me wonder, like, was that shelved and it's coming back here now? Or was it just forgotten and now it's being worked on? Is it the same system? Like, I always wonder how that works over time. Planetary navigation mesh was extended to receive further information about tall buildings to give a more efficient evaluation of the terrain altitude, while keeping track of manually placed object containers. The system generate navigation for multiple agents types based on those present in the world, such as different sized creatures and vehicles, was also extended. Voxel never works out well. Well, it's not interactable voxel. I think it's just voxel to determine space. Kind of like signed distance fields. This is, I think, specifically for large non-matter filled spaces. Like they talk about EVAing NPCs and paths for AI ships. I'm pretty sure this is just talking about flying around. If they work this much on AI, do you think that we're going to see more NPCs like doing patrol or police? Yes. That's one of the big things that I have been adamant about, that I think that we're going to start to see after server meshing is implemented. And we're at this stage, especially with the focus on content. Getting NPCs, this is, I think, what people are missing. When they say they want to make content, it doesn't just mean not bringing in new things. If they wanted to have Hull Cs flying in between space stations as potential cargo haulers that you could rob or just follow, that's content. It's not features. It doesn't take them developing some new thing. They already have spaceships. They already have cargo manifests, and they can already have those spaceships fly to certain places. They just have to put in the work to make that a thing in the game that exists now. So when we see these kinds of AI updates, these generally aren't things that I'm thinking, besides I think this stuff, AI features and AI tech, this stuff is maybe a little bit more intense. But when we see stuff in the AI content team, and they're talking about stuff that might be looking at new mission givers or behaviors at landing zones, that's the kind of stuff that I expect to see pretty soon. They always do this much work on AI, but we can't see it. We've never been able to see the AI actually be worked on. What they're saying in these updates, we can actually see it happening in the game now. That used to be, so the last time I was excited about this was when this started to happen in core gameplay. This was a few years ago, but at one point, core gameplay, which was split up into multiple teams, you started to be able to see the changes they were talking about in the game in the previous quarter. And there was this kind of flip-flop there. Another one that this happened for in the last year or two, I would say, is mission design. When they started talking about salvage missions and the escort missions, those have kind of started to show up a little bit. And then they started talking about more narrative stuff. That also has started to show up. So it's not true across the whole monthly report, but I think with the AI, it's finally a little bit more visible. Getting the NPCs off the chairs and into the tram. T-pose where no NPC has T-posed before. If an NPC T-poses on my own ship, I'm happy. All right, just get on the ship. Just get there. Every report sounds like a major breakthrough, then you get there and nothing changed. Well, the reports aren't talking about what already changed. This is what we would be seeing over the next couple months. They also don't sound like breakthroughs. If you think every monthly report sounds like a breakthrough, I will point you towards the last one. It was very boring. Actually, the last three, I think, have been pretty... Just want to see AI traders go about? Yeah, that would be huge. Does anyone know if the current 2 events will end with the release of 4.1? I actually don't know that. I'm thinking they might, because 4.1 probably won't come till April. But that's a good question. We'll keep an eye out for that. Not behind closed doors like for Squadron 42 anymore. Well, yeah, it's also the AI just doesn't suck. Like, they could tell us all they wanted about the AI improving before server meshing, and maybe if you landed on an empty server, you might see those kinds of improvements, but it wasn't something that actually we could verify in game. AI changes are now finally something that we can go in and be like, hey, this is actually changing from quarter to quarter. All right. I didn't even finish this line. The system to generate navigation for multiple agent types based on those present in the world, such as different sized creatures and vehicles, was also extended. February saw the team finalize the first steps of the spatial priority solver system, which will organize and order the different types of requests that need to be solved, for example, Pathfinder and navigation generation requests. A lot of time was also dedicated to adding improved views and functionality to the subsumption tool. See, so they still talk about a subsumption tool. Like, I can't tell if star script and subsumption are related. I don't know. Like to hire NPCs to man your turrets. See, now you're going a little bit too far, man. Turrets aren't T-shaped. If you want them to man your turrets, you're gonna have to put the triggers outside here, where they can reach them with their T-posed arms. All new ships will have to be designed. If they only add more ships that fly around random, that's huge. You have pirates and pyro and police and Stanton and ships that's... Yeah, it would be absolutely massive. They briefly did that. In fact, I might be able to find a video of them testing that. They briefly had ships that would spawn in and orbit around planets, fly all the way down and land on the planet, and then lift back up and fly away. And they turned it off because the servers couldn't handle it. So the natural thought process was, okay, well, once the servers can handle it after server meshing, that stuff might start coming back. I'm pull it up and see if I have a video of that. He just wants your Volt guns. All right, into the great archive of random game clips from Star Citizen. So here are some that they were working on. This was for the dropships. NPC reinforcements. You guys remember when they started bringing in the new derelicts and they were like, yeah, the NPCs are going to land in dropships and they're going to attack you after you're at the outpost, and that lasted for like a month. All these things that could have worked but just don't because the game couldn't run them well enough. So this was one instance of them getting AI to learn how to land. But there's another one that I actually don't think I have here, unfortunately. Unless I like get really lucky with this Star Citizen AI landing splines. Oh shoot. Is this it? Did we just find it? Oh, this is gonna have an ad. Gross. Get out of here, TurboTax. We hate you. Wow. A blast from the past, everybody. Here's an update on mining gameplay way back when they were first launching it.
It's an evolution of our planetary mining, and the next logical place to take it would have been space, so here it is. We're here in the asteroid belt around Yela. We're gonna find a rock and try to extract various important minerals from it.
So this would have been right as mining was like becoming a thing.
Generally, rocks are going to be a bit harder to find in space, at least usable rocks. They're going to be a lot further apart. Generally, we use new assets for this, but
the game's starting to look kind of old.
To use some of the existing rocks.
Dog, I don't know, man. I think this game looks freaking great. Ah, here we go.
Through the process of getting these ships into and out of Lorville.
Hello, my name is André Becu. I'm a senior system designer on Star Citizen. At the moment for 3.3, I am working on enabling civilian AI ships to appear over Lorville, then make their way down to the city, touch down, stick around for a bit, take off again, make their way back to orbit, and then quantum travel somewhere else. What I can show you here is in a test environment what this looks like. So this is a Starfarer.
This is like the most basic thing, but this would seriously improve the game if we were seeing this kind of thing happen in any of the places that we were landing. Outposts, cities, space stations, even just out here in the middle of a fucking jungle. Because it offers opportunity. Like imagine what's on the ship. You know, like I know that I sound like a pirate right now, but it's just so exciting to me for that to be a possibility of AI just like transporting things around and moving around, being a target.
Coming down
or somebody I can help.
orbit,
I'll help you out. I'll escort you.
Which is basically a pre-placed path. Once the Starfarer has reached this placeholder landing pad, it will switch over to the takeoff and landing system, which is powered by the IFCS. It will then touch down, stick around for a few seconds, though this is still placeholder. In the final version, they will stick around for longer. The IFCS lets it take off again, and then it switches back to the pre-placed spline, the path which will take it back to orbit.
So the one thing that I think really does make this a little bit nerve-wracking is that they can do this, but then they'd have to have protections. They would have to have reputation effects. You would have to be able to get crime stats from affecting these ships. They'd have to figure out if you attack these ships in certain places, how would that crime stat happen, the rep. So I do understand how maybe this is content, but it would take feature development to make it fully supported in the game. Because I'm sitting here thinking, man, yeah, they want ships to go and land and sit on the ground for a little while, but how quickly are some stupid citizens going to just pad ram these AI and do whatever they can to make sure the AI like can't take off? So we'll see what happens. I don't think the simulation is needed for I'm talking about ships just landing. I'm not talking about them getting out, doing anything, doing any sort of jobs, spawning any missions. I am just talking about the physical ship being flown from one place to another. That doesn't require a full simulation. Pre-placed spline. Yeah, I mean, for a first version of ships landing on planets, dude, I'll take a spline over anything.
This is the environment where the city will be, but with everything else but the splines made invisible. The splines are those blue paths. They are coming down from the orbit to the surface of the planet where the landing zones are, which are those LZs here. And then there are more splines going back into orbit. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to give the ship a more cinematic feel by adding something that looks like the air brake that ships usually do in other cinematic products.
We love that. We love air braking. All right, not to get too distracted with that, let's get back to the monthly report. Animation team. Animation progressed for creatures such as new movement for the Copion to give it more ability to traverse environments. They also worked on facial animations for an upcoming release. I just read that as Copion facial animation. That would be funny. It's all interlinked. So you're telling me that we won't see any NPCs flying around until StarSim is in the game? Bold statement, Cotton. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Shooting down a T0 NPC and stealing the wreck for salvage instead of paying 5k for the privilege of stripping an arrow. Hell yeah. Except for getting the cops on your back, dude. Art on the character side. In February, the character team kicked off a new creature. Don't kick freaking animals. What the heck? Continued to work through Starware art debt, which I guess is like just clothing overlapping and stuff, and progressed with new stealth armors. So we've got new utility armors, new stealth armors in the works. I believe we have 2 utility armors, 1 specialist armor, and 2 stealth armors now confirmed to be being worked on. It sounds like they're going to do a big drop of a bunch of armors at once instead of trickling them in. Probably a good idea for a first release. Maybe that'll be like a 4.2 thing. All right, going down all the way to the core gameplay section, our favorite. Oh my god. Been waiting for this. Can I get something a little more interesting? This is like very sad music to listen to this. It's dramatic. Yeah. Okay. In February, the core gameplay team, one of the primary drivers behind the Stability and Quality of Life initiative, yes, as you know, continued fixing various bugs, numerous bugs actually. Elsewhere, they supported upcoming content with smaller features to assist in the creation of missions, sandbox gameplay, and storytelling. So they're not focusing on, hey, we're well, actually, you know what? Let's keep going, because I bet there's some feature development in here too. We might not get all the feature development this year, but there's still some going on. And AAK just gifted a sub. Shout out to my man. You know what? Just for that sub, I'm going to say this. CIG, get your medical beacons together. I completely messed that up, but you get the idea. It's all about the meaning, the thought. Fix those medical beacons for my man AAK so he can start doing great research again. Okay, February concluded many of 2025's planning tasks that will ensure the team correctly balances the need for bug fixing, quality of life updates, content support, and feature development. Last month, the core gameplay team implemented minor misfires for rapid-fire FPS weapons. This includes a setting that allows the designers to control the duration of the delay until the weapon continues shooting. You know what I just realized, guys? I kind of want to make sure I'm taking some notes on this so that I can like report on this stuff. What the this is the February monthly report, right? Sorry, I'm really weird. What are the highlights we've hit so far? Just so I make sure I'm not missing anything. We hit on mission giver work, right? I actually think that was the only really interesting thing we saw. More dev tools is nice, yeah. Focus on star script and dev tools. Stealth is making a bigger difference via NPCs that we can now see in game. Yeah, we looked at Xylo's post about item recovery. I actually posted our coverage of that on Space Tomato 2. It's live right now if you want to go check it out. All right, back to the core gameplay team. So, where were we? Weapon misfires. So, minor weapon misfires for rapid-fire FPS weapons, not for, like, semi-auto, but I guess full-auto things, LH-86 and SMGs and assault rifles. What misfires are going to be a thing? I know some people really don't like the sound of that. I'm sorry if that bothers you, but there is an in-depth philosophy to the game that tries to make the things that you're using matter and have lifetimes. And honestly, this is something that will help in making people continue to search for more loot and guns as they go, and not just rely on the same thing forever.
It will wear out. And this is true for other biome accumulations.
So there's
like,
biome accumulation and
So
damage
take a
that you
look.
can get, you know, cosmetic stuff that makes it look like it's old, like you've been using it for a while, and maybe you're into that kind of thing. Maybe you like to keep your weapons
so, yeah,
like that.
So in the future, it's going to be.
But then there's also actual misfires when you let your gun get too far out of
lodged
your
in the
good
chamber,
graces.
right? So we got to fix it. So it's telling us to fix it. We're hitting the button. Our enemy's firing on us. So you got some options. You don't have to fix it. You could holster your gun. You could pull out a new gun. You could use that new looting interface ANS showed to grab a better gun. Okay.
So I'm guessing that crafting weapons will have less, like there will be ways to have weapons with less misfire, just like we saw there are going to be ways to have components that don't break down as much. And it's just one more thing to customize how each player is experiencing the game for themselves. This is the kind of thing that honestly, I was watching a review for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yesterday, and I'm not comparing the games in any way. That game is a freaking masterpiece right now. But same energy. The idea that you are having to think and care about the things you're using, how much you use them, what you use them for, and what works best for you rather than somebody else. Bothers you because of one simple reason. CIG has no sense of moderation. They will make it so you have to replace your gun 5 times a day, just like you have to drink 12 gallons every 2 hours or die. I imagine all of that will end up being balanced regardless. If it's a painful experience, it has to be fixed at some point. I mean, if it's not going about the way the game is meant to be designed, I guess, is more the point. So for now, maybe not great. You're into this? Orgs will need quartermasters cracking down on people breaking their guns. Imagine you get infractions for your guns being not working. This game is not designed to bring mindless pew-pew joy with no restrictions, except for maybe Arena Commander. You could, like, that's always a nice solution that I hope sticks around. Your rifle was almost always as old as you and functioning flawlessly. Well, hopefully there are 2 different types of damage, right? Hopefully you've got your normal wear and tear that you can just have and your gun still works very well, and then you've got your actual component wear and tear where it's broken. But yeah, I don't think this will be quite as nice as real life, unfortunately. No risk of dying, though. All right. General cooldowns were also added for minor and major misfires to control how much time must pass after a misfire before another of the same severity can happen. There you go, Lurch. Planning was done toward a misfire system for ship components to unify the systems and avoid tech debt. That's a good call. Oh, I appreciate decisions like that. Getting more things on the same system's great. The primary use case of this is engineering gameplay. That makes sense. Overheat animations were added or improved for some Volt weapons, while integrated code changes were added to unblock downstream dependencies. I can actually show you the Volt weapon right here since it's not hard to get to. Here's what the overheat looked like as of 2023.
Moving on to our new Volt weapons. So, it's the other video. That's the optic one. There you go. Fine. These are the Volt weapons. So, Volt is primarily based around controlling a heat of a weapon. These weapons have the potential to overheat. And if they overheat, you will be unable to fire. And they will enact differently. So some weapons will just basically be beams from the get-go. Some will go into beams. Like you see, this one goes into a beam once it reaches a certain level of heat. And it's really fun because these are quite powerful weapons, and you basically want to manage the heat.
This is important, not just because the Volt weapons are coming in, and we're going to talk about this here. These weapons are actually already showing up in Evocati in the code. But the importance of this is that if you go to Star Citizen 1.0 and you look at the gameplay on here, you can scroll down to find both item misfire and wear and weapon overheat. Two things that we just covered in the monthly report, two things that I just showed you functioning in the engine that maybe aren't fully complete, but they are kind of just polishing at this point. They mentioned here they're improving the animations, they're integrating code, they are planning to avoid tech debt. They're doing things that I think emphasize more that these things are closer, and that's the biggest proof that I think you guys can have that the things in the Star Citizen 1.0 column aren't just Star Citizen 1.0. These aren't things that are off in the distance. This is just a pool of features that they're going to be working through, and we'll see them pop up on monthly reports constantly. Just tell you they are working on a new vehicle loadout manager. I think they're working on inventory changes, actually. It's pretty exciting. You'd like if they add more range to bigger ships or ships that are too fast. All right. Where were we? There's a lot here. I'm sorry. We're it's slow. But this is a big freaking drop of info. Okay, for engineering gameplay, the team added panels to the engineering screen to show critical information when items are selected. They also adjusted presets to enable UI pop-ups and reduce duplication and fixed various issues with presets and screen UI. Okay, improvements were made to the resource network debug tools and item port localization setup to prevent errors. Various player-facing issues causing the resource network to not behave as players expected were fixed, while the coolant effectiveness calculation for items was updated. We learned all about that yesterday. If you haven't seen it, check out the video about customization of ships. There's a lot there about how coolers will work, signatures will work, how to mask yourself, how to get the right components so you don't have to deal with malfunctions and stuff. It's deep. Much deeper than I thought it was going to be. Okay, progress was made on base building, with the devs identifying and fixing various bugs, particularly in the client-server flow. Validation for buildings placed on land claims began, and localization strings were implemented. So work is going on base building, and we see here with crafting, the core feature is now playable using the developer UI. So essentially what we saw at CitizenCon is now possible. Including the use of blueprints, variable material quality, crafting timers, and resource-dependent item stats. So this is a kind of more full version of crafting than just pressing a button. Like what we do now with the salvaging in the Vulture. It's cool because you have a recipe, you have a certain amount of resources you need, and you can make something out of seemingly nothing. But this is a system that's actually meant to work with the game going forward. With things like particular types of materials, they now have variable material quality, which is going to change how mining and refining works. Crafting timers means that this is more laid out in terms of the overall scope of the game. And while those timers are probably going to be really far off at first, having that function in there brings it closer to being in the game. Elsewhere, the team implemented basic AR marker grouping logic to reduce the amount of UI clutter in various situations. This is currently disabled internally, but available for design to validate edge cases. We need this so bad. The AR marker stuff, when you get into big parties, oh, it's terrible. And it just breaks, and then it doesn't break, and then it breaks again. Yikes. Base building and crafting. Progress. A strike team was formed to deal with underlying issues affecting the transit system. That includes elevators, everybody. While another continued with the ongoing refactor towards the new transport system. Transport, transit. What am I going to whatever it is, just make sure the system works, please. Can't wait to build your home base and then have some pirate org attack and destroy it. Well, where are you gonna build it, man? You gotta hide it. You gotta get it in a little alcove, have a little rock over cropping, stealth components. What's up, Danger Hobo? Give us stairs. We have stairs. They're just very short. Okay, where was I? As part of this is the transport transit system, a new suite of debugging tools was created to identify the root causes of transit carriage and transit manager issues. The team then addressed multiple issues causing carriages to get stuck and the manager failing to correctly orchestrate transit schedules. This is trains and elevators, folks. With support from QA, more instances were uncovered, investigated, and fixed. The team is still working through a prioritized list of issues and have added mitigating factors to help self-repair aspects of the system where possible. This is something that we were waiting for server meshing for them to start doing, and I really do wish that they were able to do this in line. Like I was under the impression, we were all under the impression, given the roadmap, that this is something that would have been able to be done and then released with 4.0, and it wasn't. But it is happening now because I think, at least, because of server meshing finally allowing them to understand fully how the system is going to work on the back end and then start handling the glitches and problems that occur because of that. So hopefully this is the elevator and train problems getting a permanent fix in this engine. Am I aware I was mentioned in a CIG video? I don't. It was a quick clip you'd seen on another stream. Did they release a recent video? I don't recall that. Was it my good side? Remember when going downstairs too fast would kill you? Yes. That was fun. Funny times. Or like you would just trip while running and like sprawl out on the floor. Okay, the core gameplay team is also currently... Wait, hold on. Elevator fixes. The core gameplay team, where was I, is currently investigating poor performance in Pyro, which is caused by entities ending up at the center of the system and dealing with issues with NPC loadouts, failing attachments, and object container setup. Poor performance in Pyro, huh? The core gameplay team made numerous tech debt, performance, and quality of life updates. For example, failure positions now works consistently. The entrance UI no longer suddenly disappears and control hints were improved. Okay. The application of distortion damage to jump drives was made more consistent. Some per update hacks were replaced with proper implementation, and tunnel generation code was optimized. This is them tackling tech debt. Like, they're going in and they're taking care of the things that they have done over the years to just make things work, and they're making them actually work, which is good to see happening all the time. We want to always see some kind of efficiency being added to the code in the engine. Various crashes were fixed and performance gains of up to 4 milliseconds per frame were achieved. Wow. Per frame's not bad. Is this about the major patch or about the month? This is about last month. This is the work that was being done last month. This is not all stuff that's going to come in the next update. It doesn't have any specific time. It's just the work that was being done. Tomato. Tomato. Sounds like an Italian tomato. Tomato, huh? Elsewhere, the team continued the initiative to improve the flight model and intelligence flight control system. This will include many mechanical, balancing, and visual changes to improve the overall feel of flying. These will not immediately be implemented for the next Star Citizen release, but experimented with and iterated on internally until we feel they're ready for feedback. I bet that's going to make all the folks that were just super pumped for master modes even happier again. These changes involved adding jerk to IFCS to improve the overall feel of flight and smooth out all forces. Sorry. Just realized I don't I'm not missing any alerts, right? Where was I? Smooth out all forces. A returning pass to various ship classes to account for the changes of the flight model was done too. Extra G-force effects based on speed, not just acceleration, were also added. While this doesn't impact gameplay, it adds an extra layer of immersion. For example, via additional camera effects. You know what? I actually appreciate that. I know a lot of people don't like them messing with the camera. As long as you can turn these off, they're good. But we don't fly super fast in this game. And when you're like, maybe not super close to the ground, but possibly... No, actually, when you are super close to the ground, there should be so much effort, I think, put into making it feel fast, even if it's not as fast. And so some camera effects could help. Depending on, like, how bad they are. You're assuming it was recent, you apologize, you wish you had more info, but you were shocked when it mentioned you in his very funny accent, but it was so quick. Huh. I have no idea what that is, but okay. This is too sad. Why do you keep giving me sad music today, DJ? We got a playlist for this. Give me fun. There we go. Yeah, that's good. I feel like I'm gonna get into a race. It was Elliot being snarky. Was it Elliot with the clip that Space Tomato? I did see that one. I did clip it, and I did put it in a video. Okay. Where were we? Different velocity limits per axis were implemented. Now ISCS uses goal time to max velocity with acceleration in that axis to define the velocity limit. This means that for now, velocity limit shape is defined by acceleration limit. That's interesting. Huh. Variable velocity limits per power assignment were added. Now assigning different power changes the acceleration and in turn max velocity. Wait. Variable velocity limits per power assignment were added because acceleration is currently limiting velocity limit. Am I reading that correctly? Power assignment affects max velocity? Is this correct? Is this, like, am I reading this right? Is this real? What the heck? It's just like this is just a small sentence. Now assigning different power changes your max velocity. Dude, that is such... Oh, God. I didn't think... Ah, man. If this is true, I thought they were not going to do this. I genuinely thought, with the way that they were going with master modes, with the whole arbitrary cutoff points, that we all got the impression that they were just limiting power, right? Or did they say during... I actually think they might have said back in December, now that I think back to it, when they were talking about how crafting could change your ship. They mentioned that this might happen, I think, right? Where was that? Toes. Is that here?
Try the double sides.
God dang it. I always do this.
Right now.
There's a puzzle to be solved here. Is that how you would say it, Rich?
Ultimately, capital ship warfare should be...
No, this is the capital ship one. There is a...
with 320.
One about master modes, right? And they mentioned the changes coming to master modes. I want to know if they mentioned this before.
Start thinking about a more complex algorithm to deal with insurance claims and how you get your ship back. And then that directly ties into the TTK or TTD, time to disable, for us to be able to get these ships back. So if you think of, say, starter ships or...
Where would this be? Where would this be? I don't even know
Ships.
where this would have been.
The health, items will start malfunctioning, forcing that person to make a decision of, am I going to flee? Am I going to deal with this now and take the risk? And then on the flip side, that gives you, as the aggressor, the chance to go, what do I want?
All right, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on finding this right now, but I will look it up and probably do something on this, because this is freaking engineering determining ship speed is literally what we wanted. Oh my, I can't. Oh, that's such good. I really hope this is what we think it is, because that is a great touch. I mean, that means that the components you buy, how you treat your ship, the wear and tear on your components themselves, all of this stuff is going to start to add into your overall max velocity. And it's not going to have an arbitrary limit. I mean, there might be some arbitrary limit to flight, like there might be some cap for every ship, but within this window of speed, you now don't get limited from the game. You get limited from your choices. I guess you kind of got limited from your choices before, but very cool. Looking forward to hearing more about that soon. All right. A prototype was also designed for improvements to the proximity assist feature that limits speed based on proximity to other objects instead of just vehicle acceleration. Limits speed, not just acceleration. Okay. Work is ongoing to make the automatic on or off trigger work smoothly, and allow us to turn it off, please. Add a UI notification for when it's active and activate faster when using Afterburner or the space brake. Okay. Spaceships to go spaceship speed. Hey man, I don't disagree, but it feels like their game doesn't work when that happens. Finally, for the flight system, a core IFCS toggle was added to allow pilots to turn off various assists and fly fully decoupled. This is being used to experiment with a fully stripped back IFCS system. Okay. A fully stripped. Nice. So essentially they're getting to the point, like, I think this falls in line with control surfaces. They want us to be able to just glide and only have the aerodynamics of your ship affecting your ship as opposed to thrusters without needing to turn your ship completely off. Chief, Tygon, welcome in. Glad to see you got your tech in order. Let's go. Well, yeah, for now. Not trying to jinx it, but yeah, feels good. We still have to figure out our audio thing, but we're getting there. Heard some positive things about 4.1 today from people who tested things in Evo, and you're excited for it. Yeah, 4.1 is sounding pretty interesting. We'll be talking about that after this. Okay. Numerous bugs were fixed throughout February. Now, quantum travel no longer overshoots short distances as the pre-ramp can be canceled early. Aiming fixes were also made, including aim assist being added to unmanned turrets, and some issues with prediction edge cases during fast movement. February saw progress on the radar and scanning feature. Work included enabling delta signature markers. Okay, so delta signatures are still a thing. When detected, and progress on a handheld radar jammer. Wait, work included enabling delta signature markers, progress on a handheld radar jammer, and exposing more options to change the visuals for highlighting detected contacts. A freaking handheld radar jammer. I know a lot of people have problem with the FPS scanning and radar. Giving us armor that disables your ability to be picked up by that, giving us radar jammers that can be handheld. If they're going to expose these more kind of possibly exploitable features, or features that maybe hurt your experience, the number one thing they can always do is offer us ways to work around them, to avoid them, and to counteract them. So I'm really glad to read that there is a handheld radar jammer in the works, because the radar and scanning feature is taking forever. Core gameplay also began work to allow vehicle interior components to be detectable and started a minor refactor of how nearby influencing signatures are handled. Okay. They also began implementing additional hooks into the room system. This will enable the design team to define background signatures, which can make radar detection stronger or weaker. That means that basically if you have a gigantic quantum drive behind you that's running at full power, and you're trying to defend against somebody who's boarding your ship, if you stand next to that quantum drive, it can keep you invisible to them because they won't be able to see your EM signature or something like that. Freaking cool. Oh man, I can't wait for these things to actually work. Just wanted to say your audio is not in sync with your video. You need to put a delay. Thank you. We've got some issues with the camera setup. Appreciate you. Is there ever a time Star Citizen doesn't look good to you? Yes. I don't know if you were here for the last few streams or for this year in general, but I definitely share my displeasure with things that they do. Like to be an attachment to your armor that takes up special powered slot on specific armor types. That would be cool, to have it be an attachment so you don't even have to carry it in your hand. Yeah, Darth freaking Mullen, freaking man, dude. These are some really nice... I would still call a lot of this quality of life, but these are some really nice things to be dropping into the game. Alrighty. Enunciators now start in the off state and correctly handle missing vehicle components. Huh. Did they start in the on state before? This is an ongoing initiative to address many visual and user experience issues with the current inventory UI, including how players equip items on their character. So we talked about this way back when they first put the kiosks in the they kind of put kiosks in to have us do the physical loading and unloading. Remember that it was like you press it in the kiosk and then it goes to the cubby, and then you have to put it from the cubby on your body, and we were like, oh, what? I do genuinely think that that was always meant to be placeholder. I think what they did with that was they made the freight elevator UI, and then they were like, hey, we're physicalizing this. We need to physicalize everything. Why don't we just use the same UI for now for what they're doing on their person as well? But that did not translate well. That was, it was awful. I'm really glad they took that out because we should have a solution that requires us to go somewhere to get our stuff, but we should still have a good UI that supports that. And I feel like if they had left that solution in, it would have just completely burned people from the idea of physicalized inventories, because it was just not a good implementation of it. So glad to see that they're working on it now. And hopefully they just do basically what the old PMA did. I think that was a perfectly good system. They just need to give us better ways to display it. And maybe we'll be having a good inventory system soon. Yeah, it was too many steps. It's too strong. It has to be a holsterable device that is chunky. Yeah, they do have to make sure it's balanced well. Tomato just knows how to go negative without ridiculous hyperbole. I mean, I'll be hyperbolic sometimes. We all have our days. I am definitely a more positive people, but I do think some folks maybe don't come to the stream very often if they think that I don't. If Star Citizen doesn't always look good to me. Let's see, where were we? Like when the tech breaks. I don't know what makes me more angry, the computer or the game. Let's see. A few features were updated for Arena Commander 2. such as the addition of assist scoring for crew members and AI, UI for the DNF timer, and loadout preset selection. Arena Commander's cool. I hope that I say it enough. I really just hope that becomes like a casual place to go in and just hardcore play some round-based stuff and not worry about dying. The team also worked on the Supply or Die global event, including allowing cargo deliveries over the expected SCU amount. Okay, so that's already in. They also added support for returning excess cargo when delivering more than expected and made sure delivery missions don't count destroyed containers. Do containers all have health now? The devs also enabled the designers to hide the complete button for specific hauling contracts and investigated issues with missing mission markers. For the mission system refactor, the team fixed various issues with mission logic not proceeding and mission properties not working correctly. A variety of quality of life updates were added too. And finally, for core gameplay, the team worked on various issues affecting hangars, freight elevators, and the fleet manager. Oh, and more that were exposed during Alpha 4.0 and Alpha 4.0.1. So a lot of support work, but also this was a huge section of some very, very good gameplay initiatives going on. Nothing that's gonna like automatically come in the next month or anything like that, but very, very, very good directions for some of this stuff. Everyone agrees on the state of Star Citizen. Some people just ran out of patience. I mean, everybody's got a different level of patience and joy and interest and dissatisfaction for everything. I think people just need to like really sit back and consider that their opinion isn't what determines everybody else's. And like everybody is free to be however unhappy or however happy they are with what's going on. It's our jobs as humans to kind of accept that and debate, but the worst thing to do is to tell someone they're wrong because of how they're feeling. It's just the worst thing. And even if I do that, freaking, it's dumb. It's silly to do. Why can't they just do a physical inventory like they have in the stores where the jackets are hung up sideways? They don't have space for that. They'd have to make physical space for every item in the game in the stores. In all the space stations and all that kind of stuff, which I guess could like technically mean that you're placing value on space, which would fit into the economy. But they probably want to be a little bit more gamey with it. Arena Commander as a free-to-play standalone would be so cool. Citizen Mark, good to see ya. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. Gaming hate culture has really prevalent lately too. It's nice to have some optimistic outlooks. Bruh. Yeah. Talking about games is rough. But you know what? We're also getting like the best games ever. So you win some, you lose some. Like to request a medical Valkyrie. I feel like that's kind of like the Apollo. You're getting there. You're almost there. Okay, mission design. The mission design focused on updating some old missions that weren't included in the recent refactor. We appreciate that. This includes ensuring existing missions fit with the new faction's content. For example, combat missions will fall under Foxwell Enforcement, with some of the new locations from Save Stanton used as forward operating bases. Wait, combat missions will fall under Foxwell Enforcement. What is it, like, what? Do they mean mercenary missions? FPS mercenary missions will be under Foxwell? Is that not going to change based on location? Or is that like... I wonder what exactly that means. Either way, this is a new faction, so that's somebody else for us to start to progress with. It's great starting to see all these factions, and we're going to talk about that when we talk about 4.1 too, but we're not getting like rewards and stuff from that just yet. So we'll have to wait. Bounty contracts will also move under the Bounty Hunters Guild alongside the reintroduction of the hijacked 890 jump mission, which we already did, but I wonder if they're going to assign that to factions properly now. Getting the Bounty Hunter Guild in game as an actual thing we're working under is good. Actually, isn't that already a thing? So is the idea that a guild... Well, no, this is a faction and this is a guild. So I'm not sure exactly what they mean here. Maybe a pyro faction? Maybe. Possible, but the forward operating bases in Save Stanton are in the Stanton system. So I'm not sure. But the Bounty Hunter Guild is also seemingly getting a little bit more attention too. Focus was also given to the supplier die missions alongside fun content for the community. These missions will act as a test for balancing future resource gathering events. This is, again, the most important part of supplier die. Good event, in my opinion. Yeah, it's not necessarily balanced all that well, and there are some issues. But as far as testing goes, this is great for the future of resource gathering missions, which are gonna hugely expand the sandbox place, I think. Once you have resource gathering missions, that wildly opens up the ability for pirates to start targeting specific trade routes, which opens up escorts, which creates more need for money, allows them to balance the amount that you're earning so you can pay your escorts and stuff. Like, it's a slow trickle, but we're seeing it, which is great. Team also began technical conversations with the ongoing prioritization of mission quality. These discussions are about how to improve the audio pipeline to get voice missions and begin pushing higher production value events. The voice missions is all I care about. Well, not all I care about, but I would love some more. It has been painfully obvious over the last few months now how much we need that, since like the focus is not as much on the fact that you can't even take part in them. Now it's like, oh, okay, I can take part on this mission, but it kind of falls apart. There's no voice. Not interesting. Narrative team. A major highlight for narrative in February was the recent performance capture shoot focused on adding new narratives and characters. Thanks to ongoing refinements to the capture workflow, players should start seeing these narrative moments in the next few patches. Alright. This is narrative. I'm really excited for this. Additionally, the team began planning and writing scripts for the next shoot with the overall goal of greatly increasing the amount of dialogue in the verse both in and out of missions. So their narrative is just pumping content into the game now. I think it was about a year ago when they announced they would start doing this. They were going to start focusing not as much on the jump points and start focusing more on putting stuff in Star Citizen. And I think last year was a lot of prep, a lot of getting the systems together, getting ready for these narrative launches with 4.0. And now it seems that they're doing a kind of maybe quarterly drop of narrative stuff. Hopefully. We'll see what happens with 4.1. Another recent improvement was the new front-end loading screen for 4.0.2, which features an in-lore newspaper with headline pertinent to the new content being released. It's nice. Very nice. What you're more excited about is when they fix VoIP. We used VoIP for like 4 hours straight on Saturday last week. And while it had its problems, for the most part, it worked. And we actually had a really good time with it. Some of the guys are in chat right now you can ask about. Why mocap? Why not AI? The AI are mocapped. That's how it works. You put the AI in the game and you either mocap them or you animate them. What kind of missions would be the best, you think? I get the cargo missions, but there has to be a move away from basic missions. What kind of missions would be the best? I would say investigation missions are probably going to be pretty interesting. For me, it's really what they can chain together. It's not what missions they have, it's how you get them. If I'm running an investigation mission, I want to come across a data pad that gives me the potential of a pirate base raid. That would be me getting a mission within a mission and allowing me to say, okay, I want to do this instead. You know, like what you do when you're playing an RPG and you come across a side quest. That's what matters to me. The missions themselves can be pretty simple, but if they connect in creative ways and give me creative scenarios, then the actual content of the mission isn't as important to me. It still has to be entertaining. anyone on the internet has access to AI generation tools, I'm pretty sure, I mean, mocap's going to be higher quality than AI generation. And there's no reason for them to just fire all of their mocap people and not use the gigantic mocap studio that they built and funded if they can get the absolute highest quality. Like, they can get the highest quality mocap in almost the entire country island of the UK. Island of the UK? Area of the UK? I don't, like, what are you, islands of the UK? They better use that. If they were getting AI animation for their NPCs, I'd be like, guys, what the f did we pay for? The Isle, yes. Lots of side quests, even short ones, yeah. Even little freaking things that I have to go and like pick something up or fix something. That's why I like these handyman missions they're adding to outposts. Just like a little something I get while I'm down there, and I can just do while my cargo is loading, you know? All right, online technology. The online technology team began the year making tweaks and fixes to enable more in-game items to persist long-term. For the ongoing mission system refactor, the team worked to allow missions to communicate between distributed locations. Cool. The team also started finalizing the analytics endpoint rewrite, making improvements to network error messaging to make them more descriptive. Additional optimizations were made to the territory assignment algorithm to improve robustness, while changes were made to how entities are bound over the network to lay groundwork for use in a fully dynamic server mesh. R&D. In February, work on the new method for large-scale soft terrain shadow generation continued. Jesus. Work support was also given to the engine team, who are currently taking steps to further parallelize rendering on the CPU side. Thank you. We appreciate that. The ongoing work on ground fog rendering mentioned in last month's report was temporarily put on hold to allow the team to focus on improving gas cloud detail rendering for a higher fidelity appearance. The gas clouds already look great. I'm happy to see more. Oh, Po Boy. First of all, love myself a Po Boy. Thank you so much for supporting us on YouTube, becoming a member over there. Very appreciated. British Isles, otherwise the Kingdom, which includes even things like a few spots in the Caribbean, not just the British Isles. Right. I'm just trying to refer to the land that contains England, Wales, and Scotland. whatever that piece of that island is, I'm pretty sure they have one of the most advanced, if not the most advanced, motion capture studio on the whole island. Actually, probably one of the top on the continent, now that I think of it. So, like, yeah. Thanks for not calling you Pooh Boy. People calling you Pooh Boy, dude? That doesn't even make sense. Okay. Tech design. In February, Tech design worked closely with mission design on upcoming content releases that players will hear more about in the future. They also prepared to set up items for scanning and began identifying what items could be scannable and what information they should reveal. Oh my god! Been dreaming of this kind of functionality in this game for years. And then they showed us, I think at CitizenCon 2022, the partnered development video. I called you Pooh Boy once. Oh, sorry. That's me. I'm the idiot. Then they showed us that this was actually happening with the FPS scanning and radar. And since then, I've just been sitting on my hands freaking waiting. They have taken such a long time. Like, I'm not super pleased with the fact that we haven't seen the first version of this. And they're just now setting up items for scanning. But I am happy to hear it's coming. A major focus last month was on gameplay triggers, a system that allows the designers to easily hook into and expose pre-existing functionality. Usually this kind of work could only be done by engineers, but our code-savvy tech designers have become proficient at creating new gameplay triggers. This allows us to create new gameplay with better player-facing feedback for the content teams to use. For example, easier ways to dynamically enable VFX and SFX and expose ways for the designers to apply effects to players within an area. There are so many mocap studios in the UK. Is it just a popular place for mocapping? On the UI team, February saw the team focus on bug fixing, user experience, and vehicles. As part of this, they took an in-depth look into the upcoming social universe feature shown at CitizenCon. Oh, God bless. Focusing on the user experience. This involved taking the original design, working out user-friendly layouts, and ensuring interactions are well thought out and easy to use. How about like implementing them though? The devs also began, I just want them to implement that stuff, man. Oh my God, the social stuff. Ooh, boy. I feel like that's when VoIP should start working, right? The devs also began implementing UI for upcoming vehicles alongside concepting the final UI styles for 2 manufacturers. Various UI bugs and minor issues were fixed too. The UI tech spent time beta testing an improved 2D UI renderer, as the current version is difficult to improve on and bug fix. Elsewhere, they worked on tech to support game localization and progressed with systems to allow players to navigate menus using a joystick or keyboard without a mouse. Oh, that's really nice. That's actually super nice. I really hate sometimes when I don't know, my mouse dies or something and I want to do something, but I don't want to go out and get batteries and I just have like a couple button presses. Not gonna lie. No mouse functionality is not bad. It would be a great shame to not have some form of actual exploration by 1.0 with how many exploration ships they've pushed. It depends on what you mean by exploration. It always comes down to the definition of that for each person. I do think, though, that they'll have basically anything that can count as exploration in 1.0. In fact, I think that's a guarantee. I'm pretty sure there was an exploration guild in 1.0. Turrets on NPC ships and ground defense are no joke. Dude, they're crazy. The turrets are freaking nuts. What's CIG's definition of exploration? Scanning long distance, medium distance, and short distance to find points of interest like space stations, derelict ships, mining deposits, and other materials that can be detected. They also want to have transient jump points so you can detect those. But generally, it's a lot about finding points of interest, retaining that data, and then selling it. Yeah, sellable map data. At the very least, we should have the transient jump points. By 1.0? Hell yeah. Is that not on the roadmap? Dynamic server meshing. Quantum boost guilds. Life support. No, they don't have the transient jump points on here, looks like. They do have the science guild, though. Give us the ability to sell coordinates, boom, exploration. Yeah. I mean, that's my thing, is like, that's why I ask, what is people's definition of exploration? Because what we did last Saturday as an org, we went out on a ship, and some people took us on a tour, and they showed us locations that you don't normally see unless you go and find them yourself. And I asked the whole crew, I was like, do you guys consider this a type of exploration, touring to find locations that that aren't on the map? And everybody's like, yeah. Now, I'm not going to take that and say exploration is in the game, but people can do exploration based on what they've been wanting to do. I've seen people who find minerals, take down the location, and then sell that and make money. That's technically exploration. As far as that being officially supported in the game, the only thing we need to be able to do is share a map marker. So I don't think exploration itself is really that far away. And then added quantum boost on top of that, and you've got your mid-distance travel methods. I mean, you could even go back to where they introduced the idea of quantum boost back in 2022, and they tell us this verbatim. They say, hey, here's quantum boost. This is your mid-distance exploration mode of travel. This is what you're going to do to find things that you've scanned for. It's not a secret. It's not something they've been trying to hide or be confusing about. They've been very straightforward about it. I just don't think, like, we've gone over this a lot. I've made multiple videos about this. I just don't think that it's enough for people. Where the heck is that video, man? There we go. So here's exploration talk.
A huge deal. So I know we have a clip for this.
We've done a scan here. That's all.
Quantum boost clip that we have, so we can see it one more time here.
So just to call out, that's going to be the old HUD.
Yeah, that is the old HUD. That's too busy.
Right.
That's the next old HUD.
Yeah.
Earlier
Yeah.
we were showing the old HUD.
So we've done a scan here. That's also the old point of interest, because the point of interest will be just points.
Yeah.
But basically, we've done a scan. We've got some points of interest that are, multiple 10Ks away.
So this would be after you've done your long range scanning, you would jump to a location using quantum boost, and then you do your middle range scanning, and you get points of interest that are scattered around you like this.
You can see the distance there. It says 13,000 kilometers on the right-hand side. So this is obviously just placeholder UI for the quantum boost. And again,
you go through your quantum boost because you don't need quantum travel at this distance. You end up at your location.
The quantum boost mechanism, because you're just going to have to stay in the zone to keep in boost, otherwise you'll fall out of boost. But we've gone over to the planet here. So what it's allowing you to do is...
And then you find your points of interest, some asteroid with a pickle in it, I don't know. So this is like the basic format of exploration. And then from there, they can mix up the locations you're going to, what you might find there, unique items, unique places, unique aliens, people, whatever. It's just, that's the content part of it. This is the feature part. And that's scanning, saving map markers, and quantum boost is what it comes down to. All right, the last part of today's report is VFX. And it's not that big. They spent part of February prepping for content releases this year, supported Supply or Die, cleaned up various work from Alpha 4.0, and progressed with an upcoming feature, which we don't know what that is, but that's the report. And oh my God, this was such a juicy one. This is like one of the best reports we've had in quite a while. Since before CitizenCon. Because I think this is the first report we've had that really told us progress on stuff past like 4.0 and CitizenCon and not 4.0.1, you know? We're finally getting to see where the year is headed, and it's sounding really good with some of these changes. I mean, even to the feature development here is going really well, but the content that they're talking about, the narrative that they're talking about, these quality of life updates, the freaking flight model changes, the Banu is pretty cool. I like this update. We will probably go more in depth with some of these things that they've mentioned here, but for the most part, that's my review. Thank you for sitting here for an hour and a half listening to that. Now let's talk about 4.1, yeah? When does Star Citizen Live go live? Oh, that's today, huh? You know what? There's so much stuff going on in Star Citizen right now. It like didn't happen, and then now it's all happening in a couple days. It would be rare for players to be the first player to find those things with all the work that goes into it. The thing is, like, it's okay to not be the first to find something. Just finding something for the first time is still amazing. Like, how many people can you take to Benihenge? And they're like, holy crap, this is sick. I didn't know this was here. This is really cool. Why is this here? Why didn't I see this before? And you're like, well, just because somebody else found it doesn't mean it's still not amazing to do. I mean, the information that we find, if they do this correctly, if somebody finds something on a planet, that stuff isn't going to be available for everyone else. It's not like they find it and suddenly everyone else knows about it. They can find it and keep it secret for years. I don't know if it actually lasts that long, but that information is only shared if they share it. So as an explorer, you can still find things other people have found, and you might actually be able to undercut somebody else who's sitting on information and sell the same data that they had. There will be opportunities for us to find jump points, to find unique locations, to find probably some kind of alien artifacts and stuff. But again, that's all on the content side. Discover new systems and name them. Yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. I think that was something they wanted to do back when star systems weren't detailed, but they've, like, there is detail now and everything. Star Citizen Live probably happened on Twitch, but oh yeah, it's on their YouTube. We'll go over that tomorrow, I think. Or the Christmas spot under New Babbage. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, this is 3 hours long. So, good lord, guys. What is with these long videos this year? We'll go over this tomorrow, I think, because I want to go over 4.1 right now. Again, for anybody who doesn't want spoilers, I don't know what has been data mined and what has just been seen in Evocati. So, it's probably going to be, there might be some spoilers here, just to give you a heads up. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll get into it. Oh, I mean, I'm going to review this video too. I review all of CIG's videos when they come out. Video cuts off after an hour. Well, that's not great. All right, be right back, y'all. I'll let you look at some of these details before I get back and see what excites you. checked in with management. Oi! Did my bathrooming. You need concise edits to those bloated 3-hour circle jerks. Hey man, it's not a circle jerk just because it's 3 hours. Or are these streams all circle jerks? Okay, they might be circle jerks. What can I say though? Tomatoes are circles. 3 hours is a freaking long time. Like, I'm not, I totally understand needing the summary. I want a summary for that. Somebody give me the summary so I can summarize that. Because 3 hours is a big part of your day to give up. Guess you could like do it on a drive or something. How many of you guys are driving right now? Actually, don't answer that. Don't. Let us know when you're done. What food is management preparing? Well, management's not always preparing food. That's just during our cooking streams. But management also loves food, so something delicious. But maybe it's my turn today, huh? No, I'm kidding. I don't know how to. I make cereal and eggs and milk. I don't make milk actually. Let's ignore that last part. Damn it. I always it up, man. Once Planet Tech is up to speed at a level where they can automate most of their development, do you think we'll see an increase of systems coming in? Well, yes. But I don't think it's necessarily because of Planet Tech. I think if they were limited by Planet Tech, we'd have a bunch of systems already. I think the systems are mostly limited by like factions and unique locations. But I do think that now we're seeing larger library assets from the colonialism and the utilitarian style. I think we will start to see a lot more locations popping up quickly, and with their Starchitect thing, I think that will help too. But they need a better utilitarian outpost asset set. Colonialism asset set is great. We've got tons of outposts all over Pyro that show you just how many different buildings they have. But for utilitarian outposts, or I guess what we know as depots now, it's just the Stanton buildings on the stilts. So it's not really much variety. It's just an hour. It just looks like 3 hours. Okay. I meant that like I pour milk into a glass really well, okay? How you like item recovery? I'm not a huge fan of the first version of it. I'm not like T0 is going to be weird. Not going to lie. But where they're headed with item, like the final version of item recovery, I will be happy with as long as the stuff that we get back is not the same tier or have the same stats. Like, I think if they want to keep things moving for item recovery, if you can just put in resources to get back the item, I think that item should be the basic version. They're already stripping the skins off, so I'm thinking they strip off also whatever unique characteristics that weapon has, or that armor, or whatever it is, has. Yeah, Danger Hobo, you treading a line there, buddy. You prefer to have fewer unique systems than more systems? Well, yeah. I want to have a lot of unique systems. I think if Star Citizen played how they wanted it to and it had like 30 star systems, it would be... I don't... And those star systems actually had real differences between them and variety. I don't think I could find another space game to take my time now. That's a big if. Getting this game to play the way they want it to is going to be a freaking struggle. But, you know, that's like best case scenario. I don't really need that many star systems. And then if I want a game with a very small amount of star systems with a lot of detail, there are others that are very good for that. Like Outer Worlds is super good for that kind of thing. Cody, what'd you miss? We went over the entire monthly report and oh my golly f***ing gee, it is good. You can always roll back in it. I will have a summary of this on the main channel. I will have a stripped down version of this whole thing on the second channel, and then I'm just going to go over core gameplay for a video on the main channel, I think. And expect those in the next couple of days. I'm trying to do better at covering things both in-depth and easily, so that people who want the deep dive stuff can still get it, and the people who want, you know, shorter, more quick stuff can. Did I read the other leak video showing the Idris? No, I generally stay away from leak videos. It's usually not good news. Will people actually care about tiers? That's CIG's job, huh? Jump drive. Oh, jump ship? Yeah, jump ship looks really fun. I'm pumped for that. See, and that's like, I'll come to Star Citizen for my relaxed kind of like kickback gameplay, or at least hardcore in-depth gameplay. I'm gonna get on jump ship on like a Thursday night when I just want to chill with the boys and have a party, you know? And I love that those kinds of games are coming out. And hell, maybe even Void Crew would be the better choice for me. It does look like Void Crew is a little more in-depth. Jump Ship's a bit more casual, so different vibes, but just in general, having a cool, like, chill, fun space game is fun. Yeah, I like the monthly report. Item insurance without tiered items will kill any hopes of an economy. You should be able to insure the stuff, I think. Like, they just need to hike the premiums up for that kind of thing. Who cares about a tiered weapons with a little stat bonus if you don't really do combat? They don't have to be combat related stats. That could be something that lowers your stamina. It could be something that makes you have to eat more constantly because you're carrying more stuff. It could have a higher EM signature because you crafted it poorly, making you more detectable. It could be something that has inefficient power usage, meaning you have to go through more batteries because it's not a well-managed item. Like, there's so many things that they could do to make items matter in tiers outside of making damage different. Like, consider every possible variable there is in a game item. They can play with all those. If you're not in direct competition with others, so who cares? I would like to introduce you to a vast variety of games known as single player, where people are very happy to try and achieve the most strong thing without a soul competing against them. Just the way it is, man. People like to progress. With item recovery, we don't seem to need more than one of anything. No need to loot, meaning more assets littered on the ground, meaning degraded server performance. I think maybe that's the case for Tier 0. But I don't think you're getting back the exact same item when you get it back. Insured tiered gear should just return the UEC spent to buy it and not return the item itself. And that would keep a good demand going for crafting. That's how they're doing it for ships, right? You only get the item back if it has a warranty. Why aren't they just doing the same system for ships and or vehicles and weapons and items? People like to be tricked with the sense of progression. See, now you're getting it. That's how the world works. We are all tricked, man. Like, we like to be tricked with the sense of happiness. We could all survive just laying in beds, plugging wires into the back of our head and powering giant power units that keep the world producing goods. We could literally just be like automatons that do nothing but work. People like to be tricked into feeling good. That's part of being human. Still think they should wait for T1. T0 doesn't seem worth implementing. I could agree with you there. I don't think they need to do the T0 thing. I think the T0 thing is because of people wanting the game to work better. I don't think that that's how they would have done it before. I think they would have probably just waited. It seems like that's what they were doing, was just waiting. Want to be able to craft parts for faster ship speeds and shields and weapons. Dude, I'm blown away. I'm freaking floored by the fact that they said that here. This is such a good, a great change to the game. Or, I don't even, not a change. It's like them just doing what they were supposed to do. I can't even find where it is anymore. Like, us being able to change our ship speed by customization. I'm surprised that wasn't even in the guide yesterday. You're able to use your teddy bear helmet now? God bless. Perked up when you learn you can wear your stuff without fear, so T0 is working on you. Yeah, I mean, that's what it does for folks. It's going to allow people to not feel so nervous about it, but can't wait for the actual long-term solution. If you can have a gun that has 0.5% damage more shot, you want that gun. See, I'm the kind of person who can't be bothered, but I'm here for it for you. Getting is more important than having, according to a cat owner. I wonder why they didn't just like cut off the later part of the Star Citizen Live. Pretty sure you can do that on YouTube itself before you publish, but maybe not. Feeling nervous is kind of the point though, adds value in true loss. Yeah, I don't think they want people to even have to feel nervous right now. I think they just want people to play the game. At this point, it seems like CIG is just in the, can you please play the game mode? So they're just like, we'll make it easier until we can get the features in to actually make the system make sense. Probably slow them down a little bit, not to be honest, but why don't we go over everything that potentially is showing up in Evocati right now? Cash shop items could work like this. Losing it would activate the recovery system, but that player will always keep the skin. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be complicated, whatever they do. Okay. Let's talk about Star Citizen 4.1. And I have this great post here on Reddit from 2449858 who summarized some of the stuff being seen. I've seen there is a lot of stuff I haven't gotten to see Evocati itself, but figured we could look over what's kind of showing up because I'm hearing some good things. It was brought to my attention this even existed because Astropub messaged me this morning. He's like, hey dude, that mission giver, it's a Banu. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And yeah, it's been revealed that it's already in the Evocati. There is a hologram of a Banu. It's not a full alien that you can like meet, but the hologram, it's like Ruto Banu, right? It's Runu, Bato, I don't know. It's a hologram of a Banu, but it's voice acted, probably includes plenty of lore and narrative, and ultimately it is the first time that CIG has started to actually include real xenobiology in Star Citizen outside of a cow and a bird. I thought it was going to be the Vanduul, to be honest. I would not have guessed it was Banu. And I do wonder if the model is in any way related to their the model that they had here. So this is the only time in Star Citizen IP that we've seen a Banu outside of concept images and drawings and stuff. And I wonder if this is the same model or if it's a different model. Either way, the Banu are clearly the first alien species that CIG is focusing on to get into the game. And I think the best part of that is that we are not seeing a Banu system for a while. So that means that they can't just sit on the Banu. We're going to have to get Xian and Vanduul at some point too, because we're going to Castra and Nyx. So we could very well, I didn't think, honestly, after this last year, I didn't think we would have all the alien races in for 1.0. Like, I wasn't super confident about that. They don't really talk about it. It's not anywhere on the roadmap, and it hasn't been mentioned. But I now think that we will see all three of the alien races by Star Citizen 1.0. At the very least, like, on screen and voice acted. Maybe not a physical character in the game, but having the character interact with you in some way does help to build the game out a lot. And it starts to make people aware that aliens do exist. Like, not having this be a full-on human game takes it to a different level of sci-fi for a lot of people. It's actually kind of important to some folks. You think having alien races presenting any capacity will change the game feel more than we anticipate, Tycho? Yeah. I think he could be right about that. It could be a pretty big deal. So what Pub was saying is that their name is Wikelo. I don't know how to pronounce that, which is a genderless name because they don't have a concept of gender. They really like burritos and are a very talented engineer and is also a collector of things. Now, he told me that this is, see, and again, I would go and check out the Astropub's channel because he's probably going to have a really, really good video on this. He told me that this was kind of had a Groot feel to him. I think that's what he said. But the whole name with the collector is not a coincidence. So not much else to know about him besides that he is the mission giver in 4.1 they've been talking about, and he is an Ivakati. I believe there might be something here about his mission. Let me see. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, he is, he sells and buys fine things and will trade basically for like nice things that you can bring around to him. It also looks like he offers to upgrade weapons and stuff. So it's possible that that is gonna factor into crafting at some point. No, this isn't the Leaks channel. This is on Reddit. Look what happened with Elite Dangerous when they added ancient relics, alien relics and missions. When did they do that? I just saw what you meant, Lycos. I don't even know what to take of that. Oh my god. Not sure if you're just late, but in the ending part of the Squadron 42 gameplay at the end of last year's sitcon, the corpse floating is a Jean corpse. The corpse floating is a Jean corpse? Don't know. I do think that they're in Squadron. I expect them to be in Squadron more than Star Citizen because they keep on hinting at that quite a bit. Let's see. 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 38 seconds. I'm always doing this on the wrong channel. I will not give them the free ad. No, that's a human. Wait. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a human. But now you're making me curious. I'm pretty sure this is a human. Looks very humanic. But maybe it's a little tease and it's not. I don't know. You can no longer disable volumetric clouds. Oh. No, he was saying Xian, not Banu. The legs, are they double jointed? Is that yeah? I can't tell if it's just weird shape of the suit because he's in a space suit. It's just ambiguous enough that you can't really tell. Maybe it is a Xian corpse. Oh yeah, you're right. This might be inside of a Xian spaceship. Yeah, we can't see. We can't see enough to really be able to tell. It actually... You might be right, dude. The arms do look a little weird. I don't know. I thought it was just like that sort of early NASA-looking spacesuit style, but Star Citizen has more form-fitting stuff than this. But yeah, I think you might be right about this, and that would be pretty cool. Good call. Good catch. Okay, so what else is going on with 4.1? Well, we've got the mission giver. We all know about that. So we can go to the thing here. This mission giver is a Banu. There's also a new armor set coming in. So I guess that's, one of the armors that they were working on. We've got combat missions, sandbox activity, new locations, and new weapons. Now, what of that is showing up in Evocati already? Well, there's a couple extra things in there. We've got some new commodities, so new things to mine. These will probably be added into the crafting table with more variety so that we can start to mine for more things than just like the 2 things that you are into. It's an elite. It actually did kind of look like an elite. Not gonna lie. How will they tie this into the current arc? Are aliens going to be funding a faction in Pyro? Not everything will be tied into this arc. They'll be adding content that's not related to the narrative arc they're doing. I don't think this will be related. Additional locations. We've got Wikilo Emporium. These are just the places where these are more points of interest, basically. But these are asteroid space stations in Stanton. So we are now starting to see some of the features of Pyro come over to Stanton within about 1 quarter. Asteroid facilities in Stanton are going to be great. Here are the Hathor locations, which we know about from the review. Ground locations specifically, I think there's going to be a lot more. So we've got alignment facilities 1, 2, and 3 on Daymar, plus a mining laser on Daymar. Alignment facilities 1, 2, and 3 on another location on Daymar. So 6 alignment facilities on Daymar, 6 alignment facilities on Aberdeen, a laser above both. Okay. So I like that the things that are being brought into the game like this aren't being added everywhere. We're getting some specialties to different areas and reasons to be in different planetary locations based on what you are. Alignment facilities are just ground locations from theaters of war. They will probably have some kind of combat missions and stuff related. New assets, things like that. Gonna go over the monthly report. We actually already did. You can scroll back in the stream if you'd like to, or I'll be uploading it onto the channel. In fact, let me... Gonna catch the VOD? No problem, man. Yeah. Reducing, like, making certain parts of Star Citizen feel unique is gonna be a saving grace. Okay, Pyro Monorail Compound is in. This is Restricted ASD Center. Interesting. I have no idea what this might be, but it looks like new points of interest in Pyro on top of what we've already gotten, so they are going at it. New dynamic events. I'm not going to look at this too much because I think this is probably more code stuff than actually finding an Evocati. But it does look like it confirms that the sandbox event we are looking at is indeed the sandworm. And the Volt Parallax Rifle. So this was the Volt weapons that we know is coming into the game. Looks like it's showing up in 4.1. And just a couple of other interesting additions. Again, a lot of this is like data mine. I just want to go through what's actually discovered on Evocati. I don't want to cover the data mine stuff. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about here. The big thing for me is that they're adding freaking Banu mission giver, that it says more about the direction of the game than just what's being added in this patch, which I guess is how these usually go. Hope you enjoyed getting a little look at what's going on with 4.1 in Evocati. I am going to try and get in there soon to get my own hands on, and I can give you some real opinion on it, but I don't really do that. I don't really go into Evocati much. I'll keep an eye on it though, and we'll keep talking about what's happening. A Volt weapon? Yeah, the Parallax rifle. You know, the Parallax rifle. They showed it off at CitizenCon 2023, and they showed it off on this video last year. So here's the SMG, which is a full beam weapon.
A significant part of your interaction.
And then there is the actual rifle itself, which is like an assault rifle with a laser beam.
Are you really the last person to find out about this skip ads forever button?
It.
This is
Stop.
Pi, and if it sounds familiar...
Screw your ad. No. Not watching it.
Workshop in your ship or in your habs or wherever, and kind of really get into the nitty-gritty of how these weapons work. So there's a lot of visual cues to that with like how the screen attaches, all the little kind of fittings and screws and how it all kind of comes together. That visually is something quite nice and exciting, I think.
There is anything like this in a PU as of now. This will suit more of the guys who wanted to show off rather than to be military-style weapons. You will have some shiny, cool guns that you can show to your friends and say, there, I did it. This is a really cool-looking gun.
I've always been a little bit opposed to very big flashy lasers and electricity on firearms. I think it can drift away from my idea of traditional firearm. But I think working within the confines of what Volt as manufacturer are, being a home-built kit that you could order online supposedly and manufacture yourself, I think really fits into the idea of it being more of a fun ammunition type.
It's going to be so cool to see whatever this looks like when they start adding in the actual damage effects on armor and bodies. So I think they said they're using the wear and tear system on bodies. What kind of effect is this going to do to your armor? So yeah, the weapons, armor, mission giver, missions, new commodities, and some new locations. Not a bad 4.1. We'll see what else is coming in. There might still be stuff that they add into it. It's still a month out, and sometimes they'll surprise us with a couple of other things. But that's what we know as of now. 4.1. I don't think it has a stun effect now. And just to be clear, the Banu is not in person. It's a hologram. Still voice acted and animated, but it's a hologram. Will they introduce robotic NPCs in the future? There aren't robots in this universe. They have to be reasonably widely available, given the lure. I just hope they aren't super OP because everyone will just be running around with it and it won't feel special. If it's OP, it probably is going to be pretty hard to keep powered. They might just make it not fire enough. Volt's SC version of flamethrowers. Oh, dude, I fully expect we're going to get flamethrowers in this game. Volt is just like a kind of bunch of folks get together and make some weapons out of stuff that they can source, and then it turned into a company, and now they make official weapons. Oh, I'm not going in that again. All right. Yeah, I think it's about everything I wanted to go over today. Let's see, LTI nodes, update on Galaxy's base building. Oh. We need the crossbow. Yeah, they've got that in here actually. It's in this video.
I think there's one thing stopping us with the way the bolts interact with stuff that we couldn't do at the time.
The fabled crossbow is an asset that we in the weapon content team have been trying to get pushed out for a long time now.
At the point of creation this crossbow, it was decided that the bolts needs to stuck when you fire them and not disappear like any other bullet. And this prevented the release of the crossbow because we cannot consistently make the bolts stuck.
It's just a super advanced, cool-looking crossbow. It's got these really cool, like, deploying bolts in it because obviously, we don't really want to carry around these massive, great big kind of quiver of arrows. So it's got these really nice kind of compact little bolts that load into it.
Adding more unique firearms and ways to take out enemies silently is something that...
So the way that it's firing right now is not how it's supposed to fire. They hadn't built the actual firing animation. This is just to show off the actual weapon.
The game would definitely benefit from, and so seeing the crossbow come out into the PU would be something that made me extremely happy, and I know a lot of the players have been asking me about this too.
Not directly involved with weapon content, but still working on the weapons, audio guys and VFX guys. We're working with them directly, and they make our gun shines and sings.
I'll have done my part of the artwork, it'll have gone down the production line, and a few months later I'll bring it into the editor just to remind myself of what I worked on, and I'll shoot it and hear some incredible audio and be like, oh wow, someone's gone all out on this one.
They're a downstream team that, much like animation, it really brings to life this otherwise static and fairly boring object.
Their work is incredible. I've tried to tell them
use a
at some
freaking
point I
railgun
want
to
to
kill
see
that
them
guy?
add the lead pipe 01 sound effect into the game, but I've yet to get an approval on that one.
Game development is a group effort. When it comes out great, it's just a miracle at some point of a lot of people involved into it.
You know, it is still a first-person game, and I think that...
Man, I love the way this gun looks.
People involved into it.
You know,
I could care less for how it fires. This is one of the coolest looking guns I've seen in a game, FPS-wise. It reminds me of something that I might see in Metro Exodus mixed with like Resistance Fall of Man. Yeah. A little bit of Red Faction thrown in there too. I love it.
You know, it is still a first-person game, and I think that, you know, the work we do is important. I hope we're a significant part of your interaction with Star Citizen.
I do enjoy it when, you know, I see people having fun and, you know, enjoying the weapons we've created and put into the, you know, the Star Citizen universe. There's a big community of people that take...
Freaking love the R97. You just have the shotgun and you're just letting go with this shotgun. A lot of players have been asking about the crossbow. It is one of the main points of rage the development gives me. Shroud of the Avatar was made, released, sold, and turned into a free-to-play MMO, and the crossbow is still not in. Hey, you know that guy is still waiting, though. He's still like, we did that partnership. It's going to come at some point. I'm ready. There's no mention of that PvE instanced area for Area 18 with 4.1. You're surprised because conceptually it doesn't seem hard to implement into the game. Give it's instanced. It's a new type of thing, though. That usually takes them quite a while. Yeah, I don't expect that to be in for a little while, to be honest. Because they still have to make the content for it, and they're so focused on other things right now. Maybe they'll do that when they redo ArcCorp. Maybe before. Oh, it does have some Destiny vibes to it, Simple. You're right. Still looking for non-lethal weapons. Yeah, we need some tasers, right? Some confusing guns, some vomit sticks or whatever it's called. That thing from Minority Report. You just stab someone in the stomach and they would spill their guts. That was, God, I wish I could get that out of my head. It's one of the worst weapons I've ever seen made. Have I seen the journal in game? Really? There's a lot. Is there new info in the game, in the journal in game? No, I need to check that out. I don't even know when I'm going to get in game because this Star Citizen Live is going to take forever tomorrow. Maybe we'll do a little bit afterward. But I wanted to play Elite Dangerous tomorrow, y'all. Come on. Why are we making this so hard? Oh, do you mean in 4.1? That would make a difference. I'm not in there. Any throwing weapons like blade weapons or boomerangs? Not that I've heard of, no. You could try throwing your knife. I don't know if it will hurt. They put a pause on colonization? What do you mean? Like the update they just released? Yeah, I think maybe we'll do Elite Dangerous tomorrow, and then we'll do Star Citizen on Saturday. Pause to do to hackers, huh? Well, it'll still give me enough time to get started. Like I wanna jump in and just introduce myself to the game. I haven't played in like 7 years, which to me, that basically means I'm playing for the first time. I played 50 hours 7 years ago. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it, guys. Same time as today, because today was just kind of an extra. We are not making Thursdays a regular day. But same time as normal streams, we'll be back tomorrow, and we will do some Elite Dangerous together. See how it treats us. Do you want to refresh you? I bet it'll be a good time. All right, y'all. I'm going to pass you on. I got to go do some video work and housework and all that jazz. We got all kinds of things going on right now. I'm going to pass you over to, let's see. Dude, what happened to my music? You gotta give me some kind of an outro, though. You can't just go quiet right as I'm about to tell everybody goodbye. Wow, they're giving me a lot of choices. So many options. You know what? I have not rated Moist Noodle in such a long time. I'm gonna send y'all over to Moisty. Looks like he's doing some salvaging? Doing some salvage gameplay. Very nice. Well, guys, thank you all so much for hanging out, for joining me on this lovely Thursday. I hope you got to get some new information that was interesting to you. Some entertainment. I don't know, at least maybe I said something funny. Whatever it might be. I hope you enjoyed. I'm actually going to raid on YouTube to a new video that I'm releasing, which was technically supposed to come out a week ago. So please, guys, don't hate me for being so wildly off time with this. It wasn't exactly how I wanted to do it. So I'm gonna set this as a, dude, I don't even know. No, not a premiere. Private to public, scheduled for 1 minute. Cool. So now I should be able to just raid you guys into that video, if I'm not mistaken. Redirect. Okay, it just went live without it. Didn't work. So, well, guys, I just published a video, literally, like just now. So if you're on YouTube, I guess I'll just drop the link for that to you in the chat if you want to go check it out. Really appreciate everybody if you could actually go watch it. I'm thinking this one is probably going to be a rough launch because it is so late. Just took me a little while to get around to it. But this is my attempt to try and give you faster information more casually. And it's something that I want to do for things like monthly reports and little pieces of info. And hopefully I can get them to you every week. Either way, thank you if you do go out and check out that video. Hope you loved this stream. I'll see you tomorrow. Treat yourselves well, folks. Eat something you love. Hug someone you love. Do something you love. Just have a good time. You're good people. Just for being here. You know, you're like one of the best. Appreciate y'all. See you in Discord. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.